Hello, my name is Lodro Rinzler, and I am the author of the book The Buddha Walks into a Bar, Guide to Life for a New Generation, and I want to welcome you to the Under 35 project. Everyone at Shambhala Publications is really excited to launch this new project, and first and foremost, it's a place for you to have a discussion about the issues that actually matter to you. How can you actually relate the principles of meditation like mindfulness, compassion, kindness, gentleness? How do any of these things actually apply to our life as young people? So, if you are within this age range or around this age range or interested in this dialogue at all, please join in. You can offer a submission, you can comment on this video, on any of the blog posts, and we're going to keep featuring different themes every month. So this month's theme is actually sex and dating. And Shambhala Publications asked me to get the ball rolling on this. And I think when we talk about sex and dating, this is a really interesting topic because we don't often talk about these things at our local meditation centers. We might talk in sort of vagaries around romance and relationships, but as young people, we're having sex and we're dating. So if we're also meditating, we should be able to apply the principles of meditation to those actions. We shouldn't have to segregate out our meditation practice, our spirituality, our mindfulness over here, and our love life, going home with someone, trying to meet a soulmate, all of that over here. We should actually be able to bring the two together. And that's a lot of the point of this whole site. So, when I think about this topic, the big teaching that comes to mind is Bodhichitta. This is a Sanskrit term. Bodhi. Bodhi is it can be translated as either open or awake. And then chitta is heart or mind. So how do we actually keep an open heart? How do we keep an open mind as we begin to embark on romantic relationships? How do we actually do any of these things in a way that makes sense to us? So the first thing that I'd like to mention is the quality of actually knowing your own intention. So the view is important in all things. We should know why we are what our motivation is for all of our activities. It could be even meditation. Why do we want to meditate? Why are we interested in that? What's our personal motivation? And then from knowing that, whenever we get lazy about it, whenever we get disheartened, we can reflect back and say, oh, right, that's why I do this. Similarly, why are we interested in going out and meeting someone? Is it because we're lonely? Is it because we're feeling heartbroken from our last relationship and we want to go out and have a good time? Is it because we are horny and we want to have sex? Knowing our own intention before we actually engage in any activity is important. It actually saves us from causing harm both to ourselves and others down the road. So knowing our intention is the first thing that I would like to posit in terms of how to keep an open heart when we engage both dating and sex. The next thing I'd like to mention is conduct. How do you actually keep an open heart in all of your activity? So how do you actually do it when you go out to a bar? If you're going to go meet someone at a bar and try and find someone worth dating, how do we actually bring good conduct into the equation? How do we bring an open heart and relax our expectations in some sense so that we're not going in with a closed mind? We're actually going in with an open mind, bodhicitta. How open can we actually remain when someone comes to hit on us at a bar? How open can we remain if someone wants to go home with us? So basically, this is an open question for the entire month. I would love to actually have a dialogue around bodhicitta. How can we actually live a life that is fully there? How can we bring ourselves fully into this activity so that we are enjoying ourselves and we're actually doing this from a place where we feel good about our conduct? We feel good about going out with someone because we're bringing ourselves fully to the equation. We're keeping an open heart as we go out on a first date. We don't start listing all the things that we want them to be, the way that we think they should be, what we hope they will be someday, and the ways that we're going to change them. We actually are just fully there with them. We actually listen to them genuinely and get to know them for who they are as opposed to who we want them to be. The same can obviously be said for sex. How much can we offer ourselves, in some sense? Offer our heart fully, without closing down, without having real set expectations for what this should look like. There's a lot of really wonderful submissions that have come in already about people who feel like they can open their heart to multiple people in a romantic way. To people who feel like they can go on online dating, which is in some sense a real landmine for fixed expectations, and still keep an open heart. So that's the conduct. How much can we bring ourselves fully, openly, to sex and dating? And then the last aspect of all of this is the fruition. How do we feel at the end of the day? Do we feel like we are content with our decisions? If we go home with someone, and we actually have sex with them, and we do so from a point of view of heartbreak. We were lonely, so our intention was that we are going to numb out in some way by having sex with someone else. How does that feel the next day? If it feels great, you learn something. If it doesn't feel great, you learn something. Either way, as one of my teachers, Khenpo Tsultrim Gyamtso Rinpoche, once said, by making mistakes and more mistakes, we're gradually nudged onto the right path. So with that in mind, whatever we encounter as young people who are trying to bring these principles into our life, whatever that is good and valid, and we can actually learn from it. So if you feel elation at the end of whatever activity you've engaged in terms of online dating, sex, going on a random first date, wonderful. If you don't, that's okay too. So the fruition of all of this, how sort of taking a non-judgmental point of view, really being gentle with ourselves, and allowing ourselves the opportunity to say, okay, this was great, I want to keep doing this. This was not great, I'm not going to do it again. I'm going to do something different. And then the discipline of actually following through on that is important. So those are my initial thoughts on how to actually bring bodhicitta into sex and dating, and I'd love to hear from you. So feel free to ask questions or comment on this post, join in the discussion, read some of the recommended readings, or write a post of your own. I'll be on the site all month. I'd love to have a dialogue with you. I know everyone else will too. So thanks so much for coming, and I look forward to speaking with you soon.